The LAAT Republic gunship is probably one of my favorite designs of the Clone Wars era. From the second it flew onto the battlefield of Geonosis in Attack of the Clones, to even recently seeing it fly for the Empire in the Bad Batch, this low-altitude assault transport was the symbol of the clone infantry. So today we break down and discuss the LAAT and why the Empire threw this design into a scrap pile. As with most of the Republic's Grand Army designs, the LAAT came from Rathana Heavy Engineering. This did of course help create a unified military, allowing for the gunship to work seamlessly with heavy armor like the AT-TE Walker. The troop transport itself was incredibly well armed with 3 anti-personnel turrets, 2 front and 1 back, 2 mass driver missile launchers with variable payload, 4 composite beams, 2 manned and 2 remote, and 8 light air-to-air rockets. This diverse armament made the LAAT flexible in its deployments. When it needs to fire line of sight, it has blaster cannons. When targets are beyond the visible range or behind cover, it has missiles. When missiles are being intercepted, it utilizes its composite beams. The missile launcher could use variable payloads, from simple omnidirectional blasts, corrosive antimatter showers, electromagnetic pulse effects, sterilizing bursts of hard radiation, to even concentrated thermal effects. Without the diverse ordnance, the LAAT really wouldn't be a capable gunship. For one, it wasn't capable of outrunning or engaging starfighters. Its only real defense against starfighters were its light air-to-air rockets, which, as we saw in Attack of the Clones, ran out pretty quickly. But then again, this transport wasn't meant to be slugging it out with starfighters. It had escorts from V-19 Torrents or Z-95 Headhunters to protect it. This gunship was created to deploy clone troopers to the battlefield. A single Republic assault ship could carry 16,000 clone troopers, and its full complement of LAATs could rapidly transport 2,000 clones in a single wave. That's not including all the tanks and walkers that would be there alongside the infantry. These gunships were also designed for survivability, with its forward lockers containing emergency equipment like the globular IM-6 battlefield medical droid, medpacks, armor repair kits, collapsible repulsor stretchers, and inflatable decontamination tents. Without these Republic gunships, the Grand Army probably would have been obliterated by the endless waves of droids. Not to mention that the surviving Jedi in the Geonosian Colosseum would have been executed. But this brings us to the final discussion. Why did the Empire retire these gunships? Well, for one, they were designed for war, specifically to deploy high volumes of troops to a planet's surface. The Empire didn't need to use a transport like this because they were not engaged in a war like the Republic was. The weapon systems on the gunships were also expensive. Just the missile ordnance alone would cost way too much for the Empire to justify. Finally, the lack of a hyperdrive made this vessel reliant on Venator-class Star Destroyers and other cruisers like the Republic assault ship. The Imperial Navy just didn't have vessels made for the carrier role. Imperial-class Star Destroyers were massive battleships. Their hangars were a lot more restricted to TIEs, walkers, and shuttles. The unfortunate truth is that the LAAT gunships were a troop transport created to deploy clones against the CIS. And with the Empire making the clones out to be villains based on what they're telling us in the Bad Batch, then we can assume that the Imperial military will want to distance their image from the transports of the clones. Their new military is to be presented in a new light, and full of conscripted soldiers and officers from around the galaxy. Of course, if you want to look outside the canon, all of those designs of the Clone Wars came out after the original trilogy. But really, that's a lame way to look at it. Anyways, you guys let me know what you love about the LAAT and tell me your thoughts on why the Empire decided against this gunship. Feel free to like and subscribe. Have an amazing day, and may the Force be with you.